Join us on the show. Congressman, you tweeted earlier this morning that the GOP must, quote, do the right thing and dump Steve Bannon. What do you mean by that? And isn't that not your call to make?
Well, listen, I'm a voice within the Republican Party. More important than that, I'm an American. And I really wasn't putting that out as a political tweet. That was both governmental, it was moral. I don't think Steve Bannon adds anything positive at all to the dialogue in the country. I don't know who would identify with him. And to see him on the stage this week with the big American flag behind him, he looked like some disheveled drunk that wandered in off the street. To have him become the face of politics or to have a major voice in politics, I think is wrong. I think we should shun him. I think we should cut him off. And I'd say this whether it's a Democrat or Republican. I just don't see what he adds to it. He encourages racial division. Again, with the charges against Roy Moore, there's no way of knowing whether they're true or not. The fact is there were serious allegations, and Roy Moore never answered them. He gave some half-hearted denial on Sean Hannity's show, and yet Bannon was somehow attacking those making the allegations. It just, to me, it was wrong. And after Charlottesville, he was saying how racial division can be good for the country. This is just wrong. So I was going after him. He has no role in the party or in politics, as far as I'm concerned.
Congressman, having covered Steve Bannon in this administration during the campaign, I can only imagine, and I don't know, that he's sitting here gleeful that a Republican like yourself, somebody who would be considered an establishment Republican, is taking aim at him. Isn't this exactly what he wants?
Listen, I'm no establishment Republican. I'm a real blue-collar conservative, not the phony type from Goldman Sachs like Steve Bannon. I grew up in the streets of New York. My father was a city cop. I was a union member. So I'm no establishment guy at all. I will fight anybody. And Steve Bannon posing as some kind of above it all, above the establishment, he's more establishment than anyone, except he's a phony about it. So no, listen, if he wants to fight, I'm all set for him. I don't care about that. But the fact is, I also want President Trump to succeed. And this summer, I think, one of the first to call for Steve Bannon to be removed from the White House. He was undermining the president. He was undermining the president's foreign policy, and he did not belong in the White House.
We just spoke with one of your colleagues over on the other side of the Capitol, Senator Bob Corker. Here's what he had to say. Listen.
I've tried to reach Dick Shelby this morning to let him know how proud I am of his state and for what he did. And again, I know this is not something that I know we're supposed to cheer for our side of the aisle, if you will, but I'm really, really happy with what happened for all of us in our nation, for people serving in the Senate, to not have to deal with what likely we were going to have to deal with should the outcome have been the other way.
Congressman King, are you also really, really happy that Doug Jones got elected?
Well, I'm certainly glad that Roy Moore lost, and the only alternative to that was Doug Jones. I mean, I'd been asked several times on national shows before the election if I would support Roy Moore, and I said no. I didn't inject myself in the race because my wife is from Georgia, and she told me the last thing from the people in Alabama want is some guy from New York be telling them what to do. But I made it clear that I was opposed to Roy Moore.
Very quickly before I let you go, Senator Schumer is, in the next couple of minutes here, calling on Republicans to push back their tax plan vote until Doug Jones gets seated. You can see Senator Schumer there. Will the GOP consider this, delaying a vote on the tax bill until after Doug Jones gets to town?
I'm sure they won't. Listen, I'm going to vote no on the tax bill, but on the other hand, the rules are the rules, and Doug Jones, I don't know when he's going to get sworn in, but listen, it was the other way around. The Democrats would do the same thing. So I'm not saying change the rules or bend the rules, even though, again, I'm against the tax bill. So I hope it goes down.
Congressman Peter King, thank you very much for joining us on this show with that perspective. I appreciate it.